Hi everyone, welcome to the 7th class of the Basic Foundation of Music. We're going to start off with the topic of musical terminology. So we're going to learn a few words in music today. The first word we're going to learn is melody. The melody is the main part of a song. So I'm going to play a song for you and I want you to identify the melody of the song. The song has two parts in it. It has a voice, which I'm going to sing, and it has a guitar part, which I'm going to play. And you have to tell me which one is the melody. Is it what the guitar is playing, or is it what I'm singing? So take a listen. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. So where do you think the melody was? Was it in the guitar, or was it in my voice? The melody was my voice. The guitar was the accompaniment, and that's the next word we're going to learn, accompaniment. Accompaniment is the musical part that supports the melody. So the guitar played the accompaniment to support my voice, which was the melody. So I'll play it again and see if you can hear the accompaniment and hear the melody. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. So the guitar was the accompaniment. The guitar strummed along to support the melody, which was my voice. So we always have melody, which is the main part of music, and accompaniment, which supports the melody in a song. The next word we're going to learn is musical composition, or just composition. Composition or musical composition is an original piece of musical work. So a composition could be a song, it could be an instrumental piece of music, it could be a symphony for an orchestra. Once it's originally created by someone, it's a composition. And the person who creates the music, what is that person called? That person is called the composer. And that's our next word. A composer is a person who creates compositions. So if you're creating your own music, you're a composer. Our next word for today is timbre. Timbre is the quality of sound that makes an instrument and a voice different from one another. So for example, if I play the guitar, and if I talk to you, you could tell the difference between the guitar and my voice. Let's see if you could recognize some sounds. What's this first sound? What sound was that? If you said trumpet, that was right. That was the trumpet. Now let's try another sound. What sound is that? And that was the violin. So timbre is the quality of sound that makes one instrument or voice different from another. For example, if I talk and you talk, I'm sure your parents will be able to tell the difference. Our next word is tone. What is a tone? We always hear that word in music, tone. A tone is simply a steady periodic sound. A tone can be categorized by duration, pitch, volume, and the word that we just learned, timbre. So let's take a listen at two tones, and we're just going to talk about these two tones very briefly. Here's the first tone. So that first tone held out for about 4 beats, and it was a bit high. It was a high pitched. Let's listen to another tone. What do you think about that tone? That tone was a bit low and it was a lot shorter. That was about 2 beats. So a tone is just a steady periodic sound. And dynamics in music is a very simple word to learn. Dynamics is the volume of music. So dynamics refer to how loud the music is or how soft the music is. It could also refer to how the music changed from soft to loud or from loud to soft. It could also talk about if the music got gradually loud or gradually soft, or suddenly loud or suddenly soft. All of those are under the word dynamics. In this topic, we're going to do musical notation. Remember, in our last class of musical notation, we learned about the 7 natural notes of music. And those notes were A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And do we go to H? No, we don't go to H. We go back to A. So now we're going to learn all the notes of the musical alphabet. We learned 7, but how many notes does the musical alphabet have? The musical alphabet has 12 notes, only 12 notes. And we're going to go through all 12 today. So I'm going to write them on the screen for you. The notes are A, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. So we have 12 notes. The notes are A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now what's the easy way to remember these 12 notes of music? It looks like it has a lot of sharps in it. Could you look at the musical alphabet below, the 12 notes of music, and try to figure out an easy way to remember it? Here's an easy way to remember it. The notes B and the notes E are the only notes in the musical alphabet that does not have a sharp to it. So A has an A sharp, C has a C sharp, D has a D sharp, F has an F sharp, and G has a G sharp. But B doesn't have a B sharp. B goes directly to C. And E doesn't have an E sharp. E goes directly to F. And that's an easy way to remember the 12 notes of music, the entire musical alphabet. Every note has a sharp except B and E. And I'll just say that one more time. Every note has a sharp except for B and E. B goes directly to C and E goes directly to F. So, just so we can see how it sounds like, this is how all the 12 notes of music sound like. Starting from A. So I just went from A all the way to G sharp, and we just have those 12 notes of music. So I'm going to put back the words on the screen here, and we're going to learn about what is the distance from one note to another note called. So from A to A sharp, the distance is called a semitone, and the distance from A to B is called a whole tone, which is 2 semitones. So the distance from A to A sharp would be a semitone, and the distance from A to B would be a whole tone. And we've been using the word sharp a lot. Well, from seeing the words on the screen, you could tell that a sharp looks like a hashtag sign, and you put it right next to the note. So if I put a sharp next to A, we call that note A sharp. So what does a sharp mean? A sharp means to go higher in pitch by 1 semitone. So if I have the note A, if I want to increase it by 1 semitone, we have A sharp. If I have A sharp and we increase it by 1 semitone, we have B. If I have B and I increase it by 1 semitone, I have C, because B has no sharp. And if I have C and I increase C by 1 semitone, we have C sharp. So let's hear what those semitones sound like. On the guitar, this is the note F. But I want to hear F sharp. Luckily for me, the guitar is organized by semitones. Every fret on the guitar is 1 semitone. And what is a fret? A fret are the silver lines on the guitar. So all the silver lines running across the fretboard, that's the fret. And every fret separates the guitar into semitones. So if this is the note F, and I want to play F sharp, I just have to go to the next fret, and I went up a semitone. So that's F sharp. After F sharp is G. How do I find the note G? I go to the next fret, which means I went up 1 semitone. So F sharp plus 1 semitone would be G. And then after G, I want to go to G sharp. So I go to the other fret, the next fret, and I have the note G sharp. Now that we've learned the 12 notes of music, we can learn another word called an octave. Now in our last class about learning the 7 natural notes of music, we learned that the notes repeat themselves, and they repeat themselves in higher forms and lower forms. For example, on the guitar, this is E, and this is also E, which is a bit higher. This is also E here, and this is also E down here. So we had 4 E's. This one was the lowest, and this one was the highest, and then we had some in between. But all the 4 notes were E. And that's how it is for the musical alphabet. Those 12 notes of music, they can get higher. So it'll be a higher A sharp, a higher B. Those 12 notes of music can be higher. They can be a lot higher. They could be lower. They could be a lot lower. So there are many versions of that note. So let's talk about what an octave is. An octave is the distance from one named note to a higher version of that named note. So for example, if this is the note A, the higher version of that A would be this A. And the distance between the lower A and the higher A is called an octave. So an octave sounds like this. It's the same note I'm playing, except one is higher, one is lower, but they're both A. Another example, if I have the note G, that's a low G, and I'm going to play a higher G, just one version higher. So the distance from this low G to this high G is called an octave. So this is how the octave would sound. And if I play it together, and that's it for class 7. I'll see you in class 8.